Thunderdome Boxing Talk. Alright, this is a fight nobody wanted. People probably don't even want to hear somebody talk about this fight, okay? But, however, I want to talk about this fight, and maybe a few will want to hear about it. So, like, first things first, I'm going to go back to, in case you don't know, this fight between Miguel Cotto and Daniel Geale, which it's official, it's for the, the WBC Middleweight title and also, the Lineal Championship. And that's why I don't want it. If it was just Cotto fighting Geale, and well, there's another huge reason, too, which I'll get to, but if this was just Cotto and Geale, two middleweights, fighting, I'd have no problem with it. It's just, okay, whatever. But the significance to this fight, that it's for the Lineal Championship, and Daniel Geale is way at the back of the line for, the right to fight for the Lineal Championship, considering the real guy who should be having a shot at the throne just iced him in 3 rounds. Gennady Golovkin, there's no way Geale should be getting this fight before Golovkin, not at all. We do know that Gennady's fighting Monroe in May, but man, if Cotto really wanted Golovkin, I think they would have paid step-aside money to Monroe and said, well, you'll be our first, you'll be our first defense if we win, and because that's kind of the only way. They couldn't guarantee Cotto would fight him, I don't think, if he won. But and then like either way, we'll fight you right after this Cotto fight, win or lose, and give him a nice healthy chunk to step aside. I think he would have done it. I think Monroe would have taken the step-aside money, and then Golovkin could have fought Cotto. Or, they could have just, took this offer to Golovkin a while back, since they've been screaming his name, and the Cotto knows damn well that's the fight that Golovkin wants, that the people want, but he's not trying to give it to Golovkin or us. He has a new interview out there. I'm sorry, I don't know who took the interview. I'm sorry on that. But he says, I've waited. Golovkin and Canelo are going to just have to wait their turns. That's fucked up. It is. They've been waiting. Okay, and especially, both of them, Golovkin's been waiting at that lineal title, championship fight since when Martinez had it, and Sergio Martinez wouldn't fight him. Now Cotto got it, Cotto won't fight him. Canelo was supposed to fight Cotto, or Canelo was supposed to fight Cotto, yeah, last year. Again, still doesn't happen. And I'm going to give you, and first of all, okay, this is the other reason why this fight, I don't want it. It shouldn't even be happening between Cotto and Geale. It's at a catchweight. Okay? The fight ain't even, this is for the Lineal Middleweight Championship of the world. And you're like, well, hey, he's fighting a middleweight, maybe a top 10 middleweight, but he's fighting a middleweight. But you can say, okay, yeah, he is fighting a middleweight, and he was going to fight Highland. I was like, well, at least he's, going to fight a middleweight. And with Geale, I was like, damn, man, at least it's a middleweight, but it's at a catchweight. 157 pounds. Can Geale even get down to 157 without killing himself? He's not a huge middleweight or anything, but he's not a small, middleweight. He's a typical middleweight. He doesn't, I don't think he enters the ring at 180 pounds or nothing. Probably comes in I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know if that they say the 3 pounds isn't going to bother him, and that they didn't even think about it. The catch weight being an issue in terms of Geale getting to that weight, but they would have taken this fight if it was at 155 and made him kill himself to get down to that weight, just because of the money they're probably going to get. You know, it's probably one of his bigger paydays. You know, if not his career high payday. I know Golovkin's team had to pay him a lot more than he was worth just so he would get into the ring with Golovkin, but I still don't know if, like, I'm sure that was probably his career high payday. Well, Sturm, he made some good money with Sturm. I know that too. But I'm thinking that this fight is, it's at least for a lot of money that's close to a career high payday, if it's not his career high payday, okay? So I'm pretty sure, you know, because if Cotto don't fight the guy, he doesn't have any other big money fights, like, you know, big money fights in terms of his stature out there. You know, Cotto reaching out to them was like, wow, hell yes, we want this fight, you know. But let's just, this is why I don't even think Cotto wanted that Canelo fight. You know, with the money that Rock Nation gave him, you know, that $55 million deal, 3 fights, they might have just did that so on the undercard of all Cotto fights, they can use that as, you know, a platform to promote and advertise for their guys. Rock Nation fighters, you know, whoever they're going to have by the time this card gets done, or are they going to bring in someone else, you know, maybe like a Gary Shaw, because what I've heard is their relationship is still decent. I don't know who's all going to be on this card, but I'm thinking a lot of it will be to, you know, promote their guys, and they're going to use Cotto as a way to, you know, get people to tune in for Cotto, but they'll see a lot of Rock Nation fighters. Now, I know they don't have a ton of them, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, with this fight being at 157, that's just a slap in the face. Like, you choose to fight. If you can't fight middleweights, then give up the damn belt. I would have had much more respect for him if he just came up to 160, you know, beat Martinez, you know, then vacated the belt and said, middleweight's too big for me. I just wanted the one fight. I'm going back to 154. But no, he ain't doing that. He's holding the belt hostage, not letting any middleweight, real middleweight, become the real champion. You know, even though I don't think Cotto is the real champ. He might have that lineal title, but to me, you know, you can win. This is the same as like with Adonis Stevenson and shit. You know, with Adonis, how he backed out of the Kovalev fight, wouldn't fight Hopkins, wouldn't fight wouldn't fight Pascal, backed out of the Kovalev fight again, and now they had the purse bid, and we know all the drama. I did the video on that already. Adonis, he might hold that lineal championship, but he's not the real champ. You know, that the lineal champ don't mean shit, or the lineal title doesn't mean shit if you're not willing to fight someone who can actually beat you to take it. Like, if I have the lineal title and I will not fight anybody that has a chance at beating me, well then you're not the lineal champ to me. Anyway, you know, and I know boxing purists are like, well, he's the lineal champ. He is the lineal champ. But if you refuse to fight anyone who has a chance to beat you, then get out of here. You know, now if this fight took place at 160, Geale would have a chance to beat Cotto. You know, I'd still favor Cotto, but bringing him down to 157, you know, he'll probably still have a little size advantage on Cotto, but you know, Geale ain't all that, and Cotto ain't all that either. Just so people understand this. All right, let's go back to right after, or the Manny Pacquiao Miguel Cotto fight. All right, that was a long time ago, right? That was in 2009, I think, 2009. All right, here, I got Boxrec up now. 2009, yeah, it happened in 2009. He lost, you know, 12th round stoppage to Manny Pacquiao. After that, Cotto goes on. This is just to show you what Cotto has actually done since being stopped by Manny Pacquiao 6 years ago. Alright? This is what he's done the past 6 years. And I'm sorry, Cotto fans, but it is what it is. I'm tired of your boy. He goes on, he fought Yuri Foreman. And Yuri Foreman hurt his knee in the middle of that fight, and the ref refused to stop that fight. That was like bad. If you remember that fight, that referee did a terrible job. You know, Yuri Foreman could barely stand, and the ref kept making him fight. That was wild. That was wild. But Cotto got a 9th round TKO, which the fight should have been stopped a lot earlier. Then he fought Ricardo Mayorga. You know, a ripe, not even a ripe for picking, a rotten Ricardo Mayorga. Dude was, you know, nothing anymore. And he went 12 rounds with him, stopped him in the 12th. Then his redemption fight with Antonio Margarito for him to get revenge. Now this is after Manny Pacquiao just fucked Antonio Margarito all up. Broke his orbital bone. I'm sorry. Left him partially blind in that eye. And that's out there now. But, you know, someone fudged some records to get him his license, and he was able to fight. And it went through. But he shouldn't even have been in that ring. But, okay, that was a shell of Margarito. A shell of Margarito. And a damaged eye. And go watch that fight again and look how much trouble Cotto had with him. Like, a lot of trouble. It looked like at any moment it could have turned back into their first fight, and, you know, Margarito could have started fucking him up again. And if that, I just don't think, you know, I do think that he had wraps on his hands probably in that first fight, like I would tend to think he did with Cotto, but I don't think Cotto would have been able to, like, the Cotto from then wouldn't have been able to beat the Margo from the old fights night, if he didn't even have the wraps, you know, because that was a shell Margarito. He gave Cotto all he could handle. Like, go rewatch the fight, man. It was one of the toughest fights, like, out there for Cotto that he won, you know, if not the toughest. You know, and they got a stoppage in the 9th round. Then, you know, coming off of that redemption win, Floyd Mayweather picks him. And he loses what they call a unanimous decision. Now, to me, you know, they have wide gaps on their cards, which I find crazy. Because the worst you could make that fight is an 8-4 fight. You know, that was a 7-5 win for Mayweather. You know, going into the 12th round, I had it a draw, and, you know, I had it going into the, wait, no, I couldn't have. Going into the 12th, I had, you know, Mayweather up by 1 round. And if Cotto would have won that 12th, it would have been a draw. So, you know, it turned out to be a 7-5. 7 rounds for Floyd, 5 because Floyd won that 12th round. So, couldn't have been a draw then. So, 7-5, you know, in favor of Floyd. But they have him like he just blew him out the water. And that did not happen. Then he goes to take, you know, take on what they thought was going to be an easy opponent. Not too easy, but a named opponent that he could beat. And Austin Trout. And Austin Trout schooled him, really schooled Cotto, like they say Floyd schooled him, because he actually did box the shit out of Miguel Cotto, you know. So he lost 2 in a row. He hooks up with Freddie Roach. They put him in there with Delvin Rodriguez. You know, they just wanted an easy opponent, just an opponent, just to let him, you know, beat up on and get used to working with Freddie Roach. So that happened. Delvin Rodriguez is nothing. I mean, Yuri Foreman, the Ricardo Mayorga, those don't mean much at all. The Margarito, I mean, that was a shell of himself. It means a little, but not much. The Mayweather fight. Now, was that a sign of, you got to realize this, was that a sign of how good Cotto was, or it was at that time, I mean, or, how overrated Floyd is or was at that time? Because, quite frankly, Mayweather should have, gave up 2 or 3 rounds in that fight. And that is why Senior, was wanting to come back into the picture and all that too. So, that could have been a reason, which is very possible, But either way, he got beat. Then he comes back against Trout, gets beat worse. Then he fights Delvin Rodriguez, nothing. The fight means nothing at all. Then Sergio Martinez, man. That's it. And you can rank what Martinez meant to you. To me, it don't mean much at all. It means nothing, honestly. Martinez was older, old. He should have retired after the Chavez fight. He had injury after injury, not just the knee. He had injuries on both knees, not as significant as the one knee. His elbow, his shoulders, his back. I mean, the guy was falling apart, Martinez was a shell of himself. Before that fight, going into the Chavez fight, he was done. And he gassed out, and Chavez almost caught him, but, he survived and was able to win the decision. He should have retired right there, but he couldn't. He's a competitor. It's hard to leave. He didn't make the money that he thought he deserved, so he figured, Cotto, that's a big fight. I can make good money. He took it. Thought he could win, though, too, but nah, when your body's breaking down like that, you're not going to beat Cotto knows how to fight. Don't take that away. You have to be a decent fighter to beat him, and that shows you. And I don't buy into the whole, Freddie Roach was with him. He's back. Blah 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 blah. No, man, no. He's still the same Cotto. He's fighting a little better, but everything else on him is becoming, less. His abilities are dropping. So just because he looks like he's fighting better, he's basically still just the same Cotto. All right. But no, man. Daniel Geale. No, I don't think Daniel Geale's gonna beat Cotto, especially not at a catch weight. But it is what it is, man. And this is why Floyd wanted to fight Cotto so bad, and instead of the Pacquiao fight being made, because that fight would have sold, but he would have definitely beat Miguel Cotto, and he knew that. And people would have loved to be like, oh, this is the new Cotto. He's with Roach. It would have helped sell that fight. And after he beat him, people would have been like, damn, Floyd's a bad motherfucker. This is, Cotto 2.0, and he beat him. Still better than the first fight. But you'd have to really look at it, and Cotto ain't done much, since Manny Pacquiao beat him. All right, he's done nothing. Margarito, and that's about it. And Margarito is a shell of himself. So what did he do? What has he done in the last 6 years? If you take out, in my opinion, Margarito and Martinez, they're both shell of themselves, old dudes. Ricardo Mayorga is the best thing he's done since then. And the other guys are Yuri Foreman, whose leg fell apart in that fight, and Delvin Rodriguez. I mean, come on, man. He's not the same Cotto he used to be before, the Pacquiao and Margarito beatings. He's just not, Now, Geale, was the guy that punched Gennady Golovkin, and while Gennady was getting punched, he punched him and knocked the guy out. Well, the guy that got knocked out, that's Daniel Geale, in case you don't know. I'm pretty sure most of you do, though, but just saying. Since that knockout to Gennady Golovkin, he's fought once in Australia to a dude named Jared Fletcher. He got a unanimous decision, 12 rounds. Okay, so Geale isn't any better than when he fought Golovkin, that's for sure. You know, he has been in the ring with, like Felix Sturm, Gennady Golovkin, even though it didn't last long. That fight was also the fight where they had a 4-minute round. Round 1 was 4 minutes with Geale and Golovkin, but whatever. He's been in the ring with Felix Sturm. He's been in the ring with Anthony Mundine. He's been in there with a couple decent guys. He was in there with Darren Barker. Darren beat him also, though, for the IBF title. But he's been in there with a few decent guys. He's not a scrub. Daniel Geale is not a scrub at all. But at a catchweight, come on. The guy isn't a fucking junior middleweight. He's a middleweight. Fight him. You got to fight him at 160, man. You're the lineal middleweight champion, and you're going to fight a middleweight, but make him fight, at 157 pounds. Man, they're making a mockery of the sport with all these catchweights. I am so tired of hearing catchweights, I was tired. I've always hated them. I don't give a fuck if it's Floyd Mayweather having a catchweight, if it's Manny Pacquiao having a catchweight. I don't care who it is. I hate catchweights. There's already, 17 divisions, so you don't have to make catchweights. All right? I mean, come on, man. Like, it's either 154 or 160. Why do you have to make a weight class in the middle? It's a 6-pound difference. Come on, man. It's like, give me a break. They picked that 157 shit just to drain Geale down. That's all it is. Just to drain him down. Make him lose an extra 3 pounds. It's terrible, man. Terrible. And that's going to help Cotto a lot. Cotto signing with Rock Nation Sports for that tremendous amount of money. Also, fucked his, opponents list up big time. Even with Top Rank, though, he wasn't going to be able to fight many Heyman guys. But he had that ability then to where he could just fight under Miguel Cotto promotions and go fight a Heyman guy. But now he has an exclusive contract with Rock Nation. So Al Heyman fighters are totally gone. All the Al Heyman middleweights wiped out. Plus the Jay-Z, because of the Jay-Z and, Al Heyman beef, because of the Beyonce lawsuit. Then you got Top Rank. Cotto just pissed the Top Rank off so bad. They took this dude from, right out to amateurs and groomed him into the person he is and built him and promoted him into the person that he is. And he told Bob Arum. Bob Arum said he would finish his career with us. And guess what? He ran out on him. And it's hard to blame him because of the money. $50 million plus a $5 million signing bonus. Wow, yeah, it's pretty hard to turn that down. It's basically impossible. It would have been dumb business to turn it down. I understand that. But I don't even know if any Top Rank guys will be fighting him. I know Al Heyman guys will be fighting him. So it's like he's not left with much. Golden Boy and Top Rank, I think I know Golden Boy's cool with Top Rank and all that, but I still think they would still put Canelo in the ring with them. I don't think they'd give, at least they wouldn't want to give Cotto any other fighter but Canelo, because it just don't make sense. Cotto has had a long time off, so maybe he's just taking this one fight as a tune-up fight, and then it'll be Canelo or Triple G. I don't know. Or maybe they'll take another tune-up fight and then Canelo or Triple G, you know, or maybe just never Triple G, or maybe even just never Canelo. But I would think Rock Nation would have been like, look, we'll get you one tune-up fight, but then you have to have these big fights after that, you know, meaning the Canelo fight. And if he wins against Canelo, hopefully they would put him in there with Triple G after that. If not, that's going to be terrible for his legacy. It really would be, you know. So hopefully there's some kind of abilities on Rock Nation's part to be like, well, we gave you $50 million not to fight 3 scrubs. We gave you $50 million because we want to put you in these huge fights. And all Geale is a tune-up. That's what I'm hoping, you know, since he had a nice little layoff there, a long fucking layoff. Hopefully that's really all that it is, you know, and he'll be right back in the ring against a Canelo or against a Golovkin, like immediately after this fight. Hopefully, you know, this fight will happen in June. So hopefully, you know, October, November-ish, we get to see Cotto in the ring with a top fighter, you know. I don't know what Canelo's plans are going to be, because he'll probably fight again in like September, and that would wipe him out for, you know, the rest of the year, if it's a tough fight anyway, you know, which it probably will be. But if he is in there, you know, hopefully that fight is made at the end of this year, but it doesn't seem likely, you know, so maybe they might make him fight Golovkin at the end of this year. I mean, you know, he does only have this one fight, and then he is supposed to have to fight Golovkin, or the WBC is going to strip him. But you can't strip somebody of the lineal championship, all right? So Golovkin should have had that lineal championship fucking few years ago. But it's weird, right? Because they can strip him of the WBC, but they can't strip him of the lineal championship until he retires, gets beaten, or says, you know, I'm going back to this division. Like, once the WBC strips him, I think he'll say he's going back to 154. Then the middleweight lineal title could be, you know, vacant. And then Golovkin can get it. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But let me know what you think about this Geale and Cotto fight. Cotto, Geale. And the fact that it's at 157-pound catchweight. Alright, that's about it, man. This fight's... I'm not too enthused about it. But let me know what you think. Thunderdome Boxing Talk. Stay safe. Peace.